Some say the history of the car started with a bang. That's not true. It didn't start with a bang. It started with a clatter, a puff of smoke, and a very brave woman. The car is an idea that changed everything about our world, from how we build cities to how we fight wars. It gave us freedom. It gave us speed. At the very top of that story, you will always find one name: Mercedes-Benz. This is not just a car company. It is the car company, the beginning of the whole mad, brilliant, noisy adventure of personal transport. A story of genius, rivalry, and a three-pointed star. So, how did it all begin? How did we get from a trembling, three-wheeled cart to the sleek, powerful machines we see today? The answer is not simple. It involves two different men, working in two different towns, who probably never even met. Karl Benz, Gottlieb Daimler. These men were visionaries. They saw a future where the horse was no longer king of the road. They imagined a world powered by the internal combustion engine, a world where you could travel wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted. It was a revolution waiting to happen. This is the story of how that revolution began. We will look at the very first car, a machine so basic it makes a lawnmower look like a spaceship. From a patent office in 1886 to the racetracks of Europe. Two competing companies, born from these minds, forced together by history. A tale that spans over a century, filled with incredible triumphs and devastating setbacks. How a simple idea, a horseless carriage, grew into a global symbol of luxury, performance, and engineering excellence. The origin story of Mercedes-Benz. And what about today? What does that history mean when you walk into a showroom? The machines you see now, with their dazzling screens and whisper-quiet engines, are the direct descendants of those first spluttering inventions. The DNA is still there. We will connect the dots from the past to the present. We will look at the cars that wear the three-pointed star today, from powerful saloons to enormous SUVs. We will see what they can do, how fast they can go, and importantly, what they cost. Because the story of Mercedes-Benz is not just about history. It's about the powerful, desirable, and sometimes eye-wateringly expensive cars you can actually buy. The tale begins in the late 19th century. The world was on the brink of massive change. Electricity was lighting up cities. Industry was booming. In Germany, two engineers were independently working on the same problem: how to make a small, powerful engine to propel a vehicle. In Mannheim, Karl Benz, determined, sometimes struggling. He was obsessed with creating a complete, integrated vehicle, not just stick an engine on a cart. Engine and chassis working as one. Radical for the time. He believed in his vision completely. 60 miles away in Cannstatt, near Stuttgart, another mind at work. Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach. A different approach. Daimler, brilliant engine designer, focused on a light, high-speed engine for anything. Motorize everything, on land. Motorize everything, on water. Motorize everything, in the air. His first engine, a universal power source. Tested on a wooden bicycle, the first motorcycle, then in a boat, then in a stagecoach. Vision, bigger than cars, universal motorization. Benz and Daimler, pioneers on parallel tracks, rivals, not direct competitors at first. Benz patents the three-wheeled patent motor wagon, 1886, the official birth date of the automobile. Same year, Daimler fits engine to a four-wheeled stagecoach, his first car. Both achieved the impossible, a self-propelled vehicle powered by an internal combustion engine. The world wasn't ready. People were skeptical, afraid of noisy, smelly machines. It took more than invention to start a revolution. The journey to the brand was long and complicated. Daring publicity stunts, Bertha Benz's long-distance journey, early motorsport thrill, track wins drove showroom sales, survived immense early 20th century turmoil, World War, and economic collapse. These pressures forced Benz and CA and Daimler Motorengesellschaft to join forces. In 1926, they merged to form Mercedes-Benz. The legend endures. Karl Benz was a man with a single powerful idea. He was not interested in just building an engine. He wanted to build a complete vehicle. In his workshop in Mannheim, Germany, he spent years toiling away. He was an engineer. He was also a designer. He knew that just strapping an engine onto a horse-drawn cart was not the answer. The machine had to be designed from the ground up to work as a single unit. This concept was revolutionary. While others saw the engine as a separate part, Benz saw it as the heart of a new kind of machine. He was building the world's first integrated automobile. He did it almost entirely on his own. His creation was called the Benz Patent Motorwagen. It was a delicate-looking thing, with 3 large, spindly wire wheels. It looked more like a tricycle for a giant than a car. The engine was a small, single-cylinder, 4-stroke unit. It sat at the back. It produced less than 1 horsepower. That's right, less power than a modern lawnmower. The engine turned a large horizontal flywheel, which helped keep it running smoothly. There was no gear stick. A simple leather belt acted as a single-speed transmission. Steering was done with a simple tiller. Not a wheel, it was basic. It was crude, but it was a start. On January 29, 1886, Carl Benz took his invention to the patent office. He was granted patent number 37,435. This document is now seen as the birth certificate of the automobile. It was official. Benz had created a vehicle powered by a gas engine. His first public drives around Mannheim were short and not very successful. The machine was noisy, smelly. It frightened horses. People laughed. They thought it was a pointless toy. They could not see the future that Benz saw. The project was stalling. It needed a spark. It needed someone to show the world what the automobile was for. That someone was Bertha Benz. In August 1888, she decided to act without telling Carl. Early one morning, Bertha, Eugen, and Richard. They wheeled the Model 3 patent motorwagen out of the workshop. Their plan was audacious: to drive from Mannheim to Pforzheim, 66 miles, 106 kilometers. The car had never traveled more than a few miles. The trip was an adventure, the world's first road trip. The car had no fuel tank. Bertha bought Ligroin at a pharmacy in Wiesloch. That pharmacy is now the first ever filling station. A fuel line blocked. She cleared it with her hat pin. An ignition wire shorted. She used her garter for insulation. The brake, a leather wooden block, began to wear. A shoemaker nailed on new leather, the first brake lining. They arrived in Pforzheim at dusk. They sent a telegram to Carl. The journey was a spectacular success. It proved the automobile was not just a toy. It was reliable and practical over long distances. The publicity was immense. People went from laughing to amazed. Bertha's drive was the single most important marketing event in early automotive history. Thanks to her courage, Carl Benz began receiving orders for his car. While Carl Benz was perfecting his 3-wheeled car, another story was unfolding 60 miles away. This story belonged to Gottlieb Daimler and his brilliant partner, Wilhelm Maybach. He and Maybach worked in secret in a greenhouse in Daimler's garden in Cannstatt. They were a perfect team. Together, they developed what they called the grandfather clock engine in 1885. It was compact, stood upright, and could run at 600 revolutions per minute. Their first test was not a car, it was a bicycle. It proved that their lightweight, high-speed engine could successfully power a vehicle and carry a person. The Daimler Company needed a unique brand name. The solution came from a wealthy Austrian businessman and racing enthusiast named Emil Jelinek. Jelinek had a beloved daughter named Mercedes, a Spanish name meaning grace. In 1900, he promised to buy a large order of 36 brand new sports cars. But he insisted that the new car be named after his daughter. They agreed to his terms. The result was the 1901 Mercedes 35 HP. It is widely considered to be the first truly modern automobile. Its design set the template for cars for decades to come. When Emil Jelinek entered his new cars in the Nice Speed Week races in March 1901, they were unstoppable. They were so superior that the French Automobile Club declared, "We have entered the Mercedes era." The idea for the famous 3-pointed star came from Gottlieb Daimler's sons, remembering a postcard their father had sent, writing that this star would one day shine over his own factory. It was a perfect symbol for the company's original ambition to provide engines for land, sea, and air. For a time, the two companies competed not just with their cars, but with their logos, the Mercedes star and the Benz laurel wreath. The outbreak of World War I changed everything. The vast industrial power of both companies was now needed for the war effort. When the war ended, Germany was defeated and its economy was in ruins, gripped by hyperinflation. The domestic market for cars completely collapsed. The rivalry was a luxury they could no longer afford. On June 28, 1926, the two companies merged to form Daimler-Benz AG. The cars would be called Mercedes-Benz. The merger had not only saved the two companies, it had created a new legend, cementing Mercedes-Benz's reputation for high-performance desirability. The rise of the Nazi Party and World War II once again forced the company into the war machine. By the end of the war in 1945, Daimler-Benz was in ruins. Yet, rebuilding began almost immediately. The recovery was a key part of West Germany's Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle. As prosperity returned, Daimler-Benz started to reintroduce the luxury and innovation for which it was famous, re-establishing the brand's dominance on the world stage. In 1959, the fin-tail models were launched. While the tail fins were style, the car's underlying structure was a revolution in safety. It was the first car in the world designed with front and rear crumple zones, a concept that let the ends absorb impact force, leaving the central passenger cell as a rigid protective cage. The list of safety firsts is astonishing. In 1978, they introduced the anti-lock braking system, a critical development in active safety, features that help prevent a crash. This relentless pursuit culminated in the launch of the 1972 W116 model. This car was officially the first to be named the S-Class. The S-Class was designed to be the best car in the world, a showcase for every piece of technology and every safety feature the company had developed. The S-Class immediately became the benchmark for all other luxury cars. It became the default choice for world leaders, captains of industry, and discerning wealthy individuals. Alongside its engineering, Mercedes-Benz also created some of the most beautiful designs in automotive history. The ultimate example was the 1954 300 SL Gullwing. Its most famous feature was its incredible roof-hinged doors. They were a necessity of the car's strong tubular frame, but they created a visual spectacle that has never been forgotten. The Gullwing was an instant icon, a supercar that was years ahead of its time. The design language evolved under legendary designers like Paul Bracq and Bruno Sacco. They created a philosophy that meant cars would always share a family resemblance across the model range and through the generations. This approach created a timeless, enduring style. Bruno Sacco's designs were not about fleeting fashion. They were built to look good for decades. Buying a Mercedes-Benz meant you were buying a piece of design that would not look dated. Today's Mercedes-Benz cars, under the design leadership of Gordon Wagoner, follow a philosophy of sensual purity, combining beautiful, flowing surfaces with high-tech details. To maintain its leadership, Mercedes-Benz re-emphasized its performance heritage, bringing its tuning partner, AMG, in-house. This unleashed a new wave of incredibly powerful and exciting models. The AMG badge became a symbol of ultimate power and exclusivity. The modern Mercedes-Benz is a showcase of digital innovation. The interiors are now dominated by huge screens that form the MBUX, Mercedes-Benz User Experience Infotainment System. Advanced driver assistance systems have evolved into semi-autonomous driving capabilities, where the car can steer, accelerate, and brake for itself in certain conditions. This brings us to the present day. The journey from the patent motorwagen has been a long one. In this final part, we will look at the current lineup, exploring the models, the technology, and the price of owning a piece of this automotive history. The entry point to the Mercedes-Benz family is the A-Class. It packs the brand's signature technology, like the MBUX system, into a compact and efficient package perfect for city life. Moving up, the C-Class has long been the core of the brand. The latest generation is a technological powerhouse, borrowing heavily from its larger sibling, the S-Class, to offer unparalleled luxury in its segment. The E-Class represents the perfect balance of comfort, technology, and classic Mercedes-Benz values. It's the executive's choice, a master of the long-distance journey. And then there is the S-Class. For decades, it has been the benchmark for what a luxury car can be. It's not just a car. It's a statement of technological supremacy and absolute comfort. For those who find the S-Class too common, there is Maybach. This is the absolute pinnacle of automotive luxury, a private jet for the road where every detail is crafted to perfection. Of course, today's market is dominated by SUVs. Mercedes offers a full range, from the best-selling GLC to the larger and more capable GLE, combining practicality with the brand's signature luxury. And then there is the icon, the G-Class. Originally a military vehicle, it has become a symbol of rugged luxury, equally at home on a mountain peak or on Rodeo Drive. For pure performance, there is AMG. From powerful saloons to dedicated sports cars like the AMG GT, these are the models that carry the brand's racing DNA, offering handcrafted engines and breathtaking speed. The next chapter is electric. The EQ lineup translates the traditional Mercedes values of luxury, safety, and technology into a silent, zero-emissions future. From a clattering, three-wheeled cart to a silent electric lounge on wheels, the journey of Mercedes-Benz is the story of the automobile itself, a legacy of relentless forward motion. The best way to honor the past is to invent the future. The road ahead will be different, but the star continues to point the way forward.